Well, it is, Anna. Good evening to you. There are so many different aspects to it from a technical perspective where you could say there are some possible scenarios where this break in time could have a significant impact on exactly how the authorities here in the U.S. are allowed to prosecute cases of possible terrorist intent and other possible intelligence uses. So there are going to be some areas of difficulty. Some ongoing investigations may be affected by it, although they say that they can continue those. But nonetheless, the fact that this program has actually been stopped has a significant impact on our ability as a national security apparatus to actually work in concert not only with law enforcement agencies here in the U.S., but also with law enforcement agencies in Great Britain and in other countries.
Well, yes, but where are those gaps? Because it's true, is it not, that any investigation that's already up and running can continue. So where are your concerns?
My main concerns would be, Anna, with the idea that there may be some new information that is derived from the technical collection methods. So when that happens, the big issue here is, will they follow under the previous investigations, or will they be considered a new investigation? So basically, any new investigation, any uncovering of a Boston bomb plot, for example, or something similar to that, that is a completely fresh investigation, that will be a significant issue. Other areas include this. There's a degree of continuity that is established with these collection operations, and when that continuity is broken, even be it inadvertently, that will also have an adverse impact on these kinds of situations and on the investigatory process. So there are some significant concerns there, and once you lose that continuity, it becomes very hard to regain that continuity. Not impossible, but it's much more difficult from an investigatory standpoint.
What about when that hiatus ends and we get the Freedom Act in a matter of hours? That's a watered-down version, some would say, of the Patriot Act. It ends the bulk collection of domestic telephone metadata, doesn't it? That's a direct result of Edward Snowden's revelations, and the fact that the Senate has voted in favour of it, it's a vindication of him, isn't it?
To an extent it is, but I think this debate should have happened anyways. In fact, it probably should have happened in the wake of 9/11. But you know, as Dr. Boyce pointed out, that is not was not a politically opportune moment to have that debate. However, you know, having been where we've been, it becomes very important for us as a nation to realize that there are certain limits to governmental surveillance powers, as well as facts that we have to deal with, such as there's a threat out there. There's certain things that have to happen in order to protect us against that threat. So the Constitution in the U.S. does two things. It, of course, enshrines the freedoms that are in the Bill of Rights, but it also gives the U.S. government or the federal government the power to actually protect the nation. And those two things appear to be in conflict. And, of course, the Patriot Act and now the USA Freedom Act were and are designed to actually bridge that gap. And that's really what, you know, where this becomes a challenge, because there are certain things in the technical world that become very difficult to handle if you don't handle them in exactly the right way.
Okay, so will America be better or worse protected under the USA Freedom Act?
Well, somewhat worse, and the reason for that is because the USA Freedom Act actually does not allow, as it's currently written, does not allow for the following of individuals. What is important right now in terms of what the Patriot Act's provisions are is the fact that you can follow an individual even if he changes his phone, swaps out a SIM card, or changes from a phone device to a tablet or something like that. That is very important to be able to do that, and I think in many cases the argument against the Patriot Act also misses the key point that what we're doing is we're trying to go after a threat. We're not trying to go after the data per se. That's just how the importance of the data is how we're looking at this. And so it needs to be stated, I think, very clearly that when you have threats that we deal with, both in the UK and the US, it becomes very important for us to find where those threats are and find the best means, the least intrusive means, to go after those threats. So this, the current version of the Freedom Act will have some difficulty, will present some difficulty, I think, to investigators, but it is not something that is insurmountable at this stage from a technical standpoint.